That's whatever you guys want to do.
I thought Eric should be on.
Well, I wanted to just understand a little more information as to what you guys are looking for. But that's fine, we can do that. We can move that to the
Well, I
next.
could, individual grants we could apply for. ComEd, my core.
Yeah.
We could discuss that if you want.
Yeah, I'd like to. Okay. Couple more minutes here.
We're not used to having people here, you know.
It never gets old hearing that.
I'm usually here.
Yeah, Robert's usually here every
Am I
time.
not people?
You're a person.
Usually Julie's with me, that makes it people.
True that.
She's having a lot of fun at the senior center.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but right now she's in New Mexico.
So you passed the bill to me?
I didn't do that.
I know, I put it for you.
That's
It was more of a joke than anything.
what I
It's
was
a 3 minutes though.
That's what I was hoping. We got 3 minutes left.
We're not dead.
We got one. Oh, isn't this fun?
It's been 3 years since we had a crowd here. It was a much bigger crowd.
The first few regular meetings after the election, there were
Yeah.
quite a few people, but
Need to get yourself some bigger topics. Got a real big one tonight.
wow, and we can talk about it later, but look at that. You borrowed a bill from somebody. It's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the Mchenry Township monthly meeting for September 14th. Would you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Supervisor Barlow.
I am here.
Trustees. Shaver.
Here.
Yeager.
Here.
Credo.
Present.
Bendenagel.
Here.
All present.
Okay, going on to item 2 is public comment. I will go grab the sheet. If you would just speak up, we don't have a formal sound system. It will pick you up. We are on camera if you're not familiar. Looks like we've got 3 speakers.
When you speak, start with your name and just the city you're in.
You may not have known.
There was a sign-in sheet for attendance, and then the second one is who you'd like to speak. If you didn't sign the second one, please sign it, we can. We need to make sure our pictures. First up, who would like to speak is Sheila Thomas. We've got, just following Robert's Rules of Orders, we've got 3 minutes apiece.
My name is Sheila Thomas. I'm from Mchenry, and I photos for everyone.
Thank you.
I brought my grandson to the Touch a Truck Saturday, which was very, very nice, and took him to the park. He's 4. I've walked past that park hundreds of times because my grandsons play football, and I find that park to be totally unsafe for children. You can see the pictures. I did speak to a gentleman, and it was the same gentleman that was just here. He said the park was inspected last year and deemed safe. I would like to know who inspected that park, that park is not safe, and that didn't happen in a year.
No, I would agree.
I'm not saying that, I'm asking you to fix it today, but honestly, I think that those things, the only thing that isn't dangerous are the swings. Everything else is rusty and there's sharp edges. It's terrible. I think it should be all taken apart until the kids can have someplace safe to play. Because most of the kids, especially at football games, are out there playing by themselves. Somebody's gonna get hurt, especially on that bench part, somebody's gonna get hurt. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention. And I do plan on following up next week about what is the plan or what's gonna happen.
Plan's already in motion.
Okay.
We've been dismantling it as items of being deemed unsafe, because you'll find that there's pieces of equipment that have been removed. And we're out trying to put together an RFI, a request for information on different park setups and things like that. Once we get that information back, we as the board will decide what we can afford, and then we will go out and put an RFQ, a quote, for what we feel we can afford out there, and we will replace the equipment. We're in the process. We've already set the money, we set some of the money aside. We've got a very preliminary cost some time ago, about a year ago, I believe. And we're going to look at that and have it replaced. So we'll definitely hear you. We all agree that something needs to be done with that park equipment. It's aged out. We've been around to all the others. They're not in as bad shape, but we need to start putting some money away in reserves so that we can have, when things age out, we're not stuck with a huge payment. Park equipment replacement, ballpark, a year ago was about $130,000. You're probably looking at $150,000 to $175,000 now. So
Absolutely. I just don't think the shape that it's in.
Correct.
I think it should be dismantled and taken down. I think
Yeah.
it's totally unsafe.
Understood.
Thank you for thank you for the time.
Sure.
Thank you.
Robert Beltran. Are you running the clock or no?
I can't.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Yes, Robert.
Hi, Robert Beltran, Mchenry Township. I'm really up here asking on behalf of my spouse Judy, who is the kind of like the citizen lead on the community garden. If it's possible to get a couple of signs made. She's put up a paper sign that says, "Please don't pick our veggies," which is dilapidated because every time it rains and wind blows, it gets torn up and stuff. But if you could put up a township professional-looking sign, I know that there's a sign shop with the road district. I don't know if you have a separate one or not, but I know that Jim likes to make signs. And one that says, you know, please don't pick up other people's vegetables, for one. And then if we could put up a sign that says, this area under video surveillance, and both of them be township signs, even though there may not be any video surveillance, I don't know if there is or not, just to make people more conscious of what they're doing and whether or not they might be, you know, viewed doing something they shouldn't.
Absolutely. Judy had called me, and we talked. There is not a direct video that would be good enough to see who is out there, but there's one that comes down the side of the building from the road district that kind of goes down there. We can generally tell who's down there, but not specifically who it is.
Yeah.
So we've got that. Definitely she wants signs. I'll talk to Jim and the road group. My thought on that too is put up the rules of the garden, the community garden, and then please don't pillage our vegetables.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking principally two signs. One is not to take the vegetables, and the other is, you know, this area under video surveillance, because people don't necessarily know what the resolution of your video is, and
I guess I'm adding a third sign, the rules of the garden.
Okay.
That's,
Great.
but I have your two noted, do not pick veggies in video surveillance.
Great.
Absolutely, I don't disagree.
Yeah, and if it's an official looking sign, then people are more likely to pay attention to it than.
Yeah.
you know,
Makes sense.
else.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for going. Stephanie?
Tessmer,
Oh, Tessmer.
and I live in McHenry.
Okay.
I'm with the gravel pit movement. I know the gravel pit is on your agenda this evening. I am very involved with it. I'm one of the environmental scientists on the project. And I am hoping that the discussion will talk about some sort of a resolution like the Village of Lakemore has already done. Things like this can only help us when we go to county. There's a few statutes that back up with townships and municipalities having resolutions against things they don't want done with the land. So we're hoping tonight that through the rest of us that are here all for this to talk to you about it, you can hear more information on why it's important. My biggest is that it is a sensitive recharge zone for your aquifer, and drinking water is extremely important. I went to the water forum last night at MCC and found out that the southeast part of our county is running out of water, and Joliet's going to be out of water in like 10 years, so they will be connecting to Lake Michigan. So we want to protect our recharge areas and not really have any sort of development or any sort of mining of any kind in those areas. Drinking water is important. We all use it, right?
Absolutely.
That's all I have for you.
Thank you. Steve, I'm not even going to attempt it. Your last name, Steve?
Steve Mormino.
Mormino, okay.
Yep. Thanks for the time tonight.
Sure.
I don't get in this world how our little tiny subdivision deserves to be surrounded by three, on all sides by gravel pits. Only Lincoln Road, we wouldn't have one if this goes in. I Google gravel pits and there's already 5 in McHenry. We're not a metropolitan area. We're just a small McHenry town, 27,000 people. We've got 5 pits. We need a 6th. So I don't understand how we're not, if that pit goes in, how are we not going to get affected? The wind blows west a lot. You can say it's wet, you can say it's this. I've got a CDLA, I've been in gravel pits up on mountains in Arizona, and I've talked to these guys all the time. Stuff flies around. Our little community is full of elderly, a lot with respiratory issues. There's just no way that some stuff isn't going to get around all the time. I talked to neighbors outside of right outside, across from the outdoor theater. And they're like, yeah, we hear it all the time. We're supposed to be done at 5, but I hear them doing it at 7. And I wish you were here, because I don't want to talk behind his back, but Mr. Peace doesn't have a good reputation. Once he's in, he does what he wants. His just name is all around. It's the red flags are just crazy. I care about health. What are our 2 most precious resources in life? Their oxygen and their water. What are the 2 things that would be affected if we're surrounded on 3 sides by pits? Possibly. You know, you can't say for sure it won't, and I can't say for sure it will, which leaves that there's a possibility. So if there's even a small possibility, can't we put human life before somebody having to go a little extra, a few more miles for diesel? We got 5 pits already. Help us please to protect our little neighborhood. We've just got so many people with respiratory issues, a baby with Down syndrome. If that goes in, this young couple, the Ensteads, are going to have to move. Because they're right, I think they're about maybe a couple hundred feet from where it would be on the Morgan Trail. So just asking you to please protect our little neighborhood. We've already got on 2 sides a gravel pit. And oxygen and water. Those are the only 2 things that would be affected by this. And there are 2 most precious, what we value, are oxygen and water. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome. Tim? Can you state your last name and state it on the record, please?
Tim Karazik, unincorporated McHenry.
Okay. Thank you.
So let's see if a picture's worth 1,000 words here. See the yellow? That's the proposed gravel pit. Okay, all this green around this proposed pit is single-family residential homes surrounding it. 470 homes within a half a mile of this proposed pit. Got Velmar Estates, Stilling Woods, Eastwood Manor, and we got Redwood that's going to be building down on the south side. When Redwood builds, it's going to be another 180 homes. It's going to be a total of 650 houses within a half a mile of this pit. Within the hearing range, within the dust range, within the crystalline silica dust fallout area. Okay. Velmar Estates, Eastwood Manor are in the township. You are the only people that can protect us, all right? I found out recently that if you file a formal protest with McHenry County, it will trigger the need for a supermajority vote when the county board votes on this item. This whole thing can rest on your laps, whether you object to this or not.
Do you have the law that you're referring to?
No, but I can get the.
If you would share that with me, I'd appreciate
I have
it.
them in an email, I'll look them up for you.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Yeah, you know, nobody's protecting us. You know, we're at the mercy of anybody who wants to come along here. Every one of these single 470 houses pays more in property taxes than this entire site does. Each house pays more taxes than this site. Some of them pay it 2 or 3 times as much, yet we got no voice in this matter. You know, who do we go to? Who's going to help us? Who do we see? You know, it's up to you. In Velmar Estates, Palomino Drive, these cards that I passed out before, these houses that are right on top of this red box in these cards, that's Velmar, all right. Palomino Estates, they're going to be mining within 30 to 50 feet of people's property lines, 30 to 50 feet, all right? No one ever mined that close to existing residential houses before. And like I said before, there's going to be 650 houses within a half a mile. No one has ever mined in an area that densely populated before. This is all new. This can't be, we can't let this happen. If, you know, if this happens here, what's going to stop the next guy? So if you can do anything to help us, we'd certainly appreciate it. Thank you. And if you want to get the bigger story, go to this website. It'll explain everything. There's a 1.5-minute video of a drone flyover, which will show you everything you need to know about why we're against this. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Since these kind folks came out and gave us their information, I'd make a motion that we move new business item 8.1 up to the next item.
I'll second that.
All those in favor of moving 8.1 up to essentially now?
Aye.
That's an aye. All ayes.
No public comment.
No more public comment. Public comment's closed. So I'll turn it over to the trustees.
Well, I'm given more than 3 minutes, so I'm going to take all my time.
Sure. You have 3 minutes.
You know, it was just mentioned that we represent the unincorporated areas within the township. The city vote only represented the electors that were in the city limits, as the gentleman just told us. The gravel pit location is located definitely in unincorporated Mchenry Township. So to suggest the township has no skin in the game is a false narrative. We do have a lot of skin in the game. Recently, traveling the adjacent area, they suggest a gravel pit. There are many signs suggesting no pit. On Facebook, there's a no pit Facebook page. It's just 2 of them, actually. They have 1.9 thousand followers. The Pro Pit site only has 13 people that support the no they have in a pit. So if you go to Facebook and look it up, that's telling you the truth. Speaking about Facebook, a potential buyer posted they were gonna buy in Stonewater, which is basically across the street from the gravel pit that's further west in town here. They decided not to buy in the development due to the proximity that it was to the gravel pit on that side of town. I say this all the time. Township government is the oldest form of government and the closest to the people. This question on the agenda tonight only asks if we support the decision of the city council, which represents the people within the city limits. So my operational concerns, potential hazards to the aquifer. They're not gonna mine that deep there, but let's say that they do mine and they do go too deep. And now it does affect the aquifer that's feeding everyone's drinking water. Who is gonna pay to repair that? It's a possibility, don't try to tell me that it's not. Who's gonna pay for it again? The silica sand concerns. The jury's still out on the potential dangers to public health. I understand that many changes have been done in the mining, but I think there's a lot more to go. Someone brought up public health. I have COPD myself, so it is one of my concerns. The gravel pit plan presented to the Mchenry City Council called for more restrictive setbacks than the county allows. The city requested 200 feet. I think the county's only 100 feet, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why we need to be represented in the county, to make sure that if they're going to vote for the pit, they have the same further yards we're talking about. Somewhere here. Approval standards. This is the McHenry County site. Approval standards for conditional use. I'm only going to read 4. Will the conditional use be injurious to use and enjoyment of other property in the area? Will the conditional use substantially diminish and impair property value in the area? Are adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities provided? I just read you 3 of 10. I'm not sure they can meet those conditional use. Miscellaneous, and I had originally written down whether those Lakemore considers a gravel pit. They've already voted against it. If they do annex their property, it's still the Mchenry Township residents that live in that area, whether Lakemore draws it in or not. I talked to Representative Tom Weber concerning this operational controls of gravel pits. He noted it would take years for any legislation to move any changes forward. If you think about it, government does move slow. As a township trustee, I believe we should listen to and vote as the concerned electors of our township. Past history has shown us, and the past trustees, ignoring the wishes of the electors cost them the trust of the people. The same electors saved this very township. I was here for that. I will say I do believe that the county does have a better understanding of the needs and resources needed by the people at large. Therefore, I agree with the decision. Well, I'm not going to say that just yet. I'm done. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments?
My main concern that I've heard people complaining about is the potential truck traffic every day that takes up both lanes and really slows down traffic at the 6 a.m., 7 a.m. rush hour in the morning heading east. And the trucks are kicking out dirt over here on the west end. They're 15 miles an hour. And if you're not doing as fast as they want to do when they're behind you, they're right on your tail. And so I'm going to agree with John. So on many issues, but the truck traffic is something is a major concern.
Well, the only thing that I have to say is, in light of the new information brought this evening from Tim, is that, excuse me, I forgot your last name. Yeah, I'd like to have an opportunity to look at those walls. Thank you. The Unified Development Ordinances, is that state law,
There's
county
3
law,
of them.
or
Those are county ordinances.
they're county? Okay. Thank you. I'll look into them.
Can
Can I say something?
Sure.
I'm a county board member, and
Sure.
we were,
Yes, I recognize you.
I'm Kelly Wagner.
Yes.
We were given a little class this morning at our county board meeting about zoning. And the gentleman was correct, that if anybody, especially if the township objects, just objects at all, it does force a supermajority vote by the county board. So that is true. And
So
then-
this is considered a formal objection?
No,
Or do they
you
have to
have to-
usually put it, and they would have to put it in writing and
You
submit
would
it?
have to
You
go
would
to
have to put it in
the
writing.
county board, the zoning board of appeals meeting when it goes to the zoning board. So
Who-
before it
who's
comes,
The township.
the township or neighbors, anybody.
Why wouldn't the electors in the county that elect you, why wouldn't they be able to go before you and
Oh,
do
they
that?
can, they
Okay.
can. I'm just saying,
Okay.
it does
Yeah,
have weight if
I
you
wanna
guys,
look-
but.
yeah, I understand.
But is the law specific that it has to be the township that?
It's
okay.
townships and municipalities.
Municipalities within a certain range of the site.
So if Lakemore has already, just curiosity, if Lakemore has already objected formally, that already forces a supermajority.
Lakemore has to go to the zoning committee
Right.
and present that letter to them, and that
Yes.
will trigger it.
Yes.
Lakemore
correct.
protested to the city of McHenry.
Oh, that's different.
Gotcha, okay.
They would have to protest to the county,
So they still have to do the other.
Correct.
or you.
Well, I only have one short thing to say. Obviously, John has done a lot more research on this area. It's much closer to where he lives. He's very involved, obviously, within the community, and I think I agree with everything he and Mark said. I don't have anything specific that I can add other than, I know that as a board member, we were all contacted by electors within the township and urged to take a position either way. I do feel that while we don't necessarily directly impact the final decision, I think that it's important for us to represent the township that we represent. So the motion tonight was specifically to discuss and have possible action, and I think previously, the conversation had been, do we as the township just decide whether we support or not support the city's
Or abstain.
outcome
Or
or
abstain.
abstain. I think it's important that we determine what our standing is on it and possibly make the formal complaint to the zoning board if we determine that we don't agree with the course of action.
I think you guys have said it all, so.
Jonathan?
Put it in motion.
I don't have anything. I've got more research to do on the law.
Well, I make a motion that we decide if we agree with the city council's decision, yes, no, or abstain.
John, do you want to take it further than that? Or is that the limitation of?
Well, at this point, I think this is, what are your thoughts? We can still talk about it. What are your thoughts?
I don't know the specific law that was cited, but I am of the belief that if the township objecting formally to the zoning board would force a larger percentage of people to actually support that at the county level for it to go through, then I think it's important for us to take that.
I agree with what you're saying. I think that's something we need Gary to review the law before we vote on that without knowing the way the law is written.
Correct.
So that's why I'm gonna leave it to the original question at this point.
Okay.
Point of information.
Sure.
Do we know what the timetable is for the county to act on this?
They haven't applied to the county yet, is my understanding.
I mean, number one, is it before the county?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
So we'll have our next meeting to make our final decision.
Right, that could be bringing that up, we put that on the agenda next meeting.
All right, so
Then
you
Gary-
made the motion to make that decision. I'll second your motion.
What exactly is the motion?
Do we agree with city council's decision, is basically what we're saying. Can't get much more basic than that.
So do we do a voice vote? Yes or
Yeah.
no?
No, that's,
It's a hand vote, is it not?
No, it's all this voice vote.
Yeah.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? I'll abstain.
Motion passes.
Thank
how will we find out the final resolution on what you're gonna do?
How would you? Well, we're gonna have to do some, well, I will do some research and share it with the board, and then we'll have to decide whether we'll write a resolution or not, or attend the zoning meetings to formally put in a, I don't know what the term was off the top of my head, but to object. Thank you, Robert.
Because last time we found out about this, the only way we found out was somebody in the neighborhood got a certified letter in the mail. And it gave us 15 days to act, to get our act together and start fighting this thing. You know, if this happens again and you guys haven't moved yet, you know, where are we at?
I will keep Stephanie informed.
Okay.
And I'd imagine on our next month's board meeting, this same time next month, it'll be a topic that comes out on the agenda that you'll see on the website and the Facebook group, and it'll be on that meeting.
And I can tell you that John is motivated in pushing this, and he is your voice. He's your precinct committeeman, and is listening to his people. You.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask just one thing? If you research it and you deem that it has no weight at the county level, are you still going to vote on your opinion and push that forward?
If
Because it
the
sounds like you
township,
just push this off to research if it has weight.
it doesn't have any weight. It doesn't have any weight. If one person, which the Village of Lakewood or any of you go to the zoning meeting, triggers a supermajority. It all depends on what the county board thinks of our opinion. If they think that it holds weight, they may take it into consideration. If it doesn't hold any weight, they won't even consider it.
Okay, but.
We don't have any zoning.
As a board though, will you collectively vote your opinion one way or another?
Gary, what I think they're referring to is that if we send a letter to the county board.
Correct.
I don't know if that's the right terminology, that they will force the county board to pass it by supermajority.
Correct.
And I think that's what the gentleman was referring to.
Correct.
But really what I was trying to get to is if you decide that if you figure out that that's not the case, are you still going to vote your opinion one way or another and let that?
I believe we already have.
Yeah, the resolution tonight, or not the resolution, but the aye vote that we just made stands as that we do not agree, that we do agree, we support the decision that the city council made. So tonight, the decision was that we support the city of McHenry denying the gravel pit. That was the way that
Therefore,
it
it counts as an objection against the gravel pit.
That's not the same thing. It's not the same as an objection to the county.
That is the part that we needed to
That's the
research.
piece, that's the part we're gonna research.
Right, and you have the imprimatur that individuals don't.
Correct. It's Robert.
Yes.
We need you for us.
I got it.
It's Robert.
No, I understand, but I just need to do some more research from
Exactly.
the legal standpoint.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the stuff we can't.
Yeah, we can't give that answer to.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. The approval of the meeting minutes from the regular meeting on August 10th. Do you want to take a 5-minute recess? Motion.
Thank you, folks.
Sure. Motion to take a 5-minute recess. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I'm the one who voted against.
I know.
Thank you so much for your time tonight.
So just a quick note, you might want to update the meeting minutes from that meeting? Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. When I was reading through the meeting minutes from your meeting, it says that Mayor Jett abstained, but if you listen to the video, he clearly says no.
He did say no.
Correct.
It was a pause, and then he said no.
That's what I picked up on the video, but the meeting minutes don't reflect that.
This is not a political thing.
The meeting minutes reflect.
I live in Italy.
Yeah, I know. So
The ones that are on the website, unless there was
they had been, I will contact Trish.
yeah, I just, because I was reading through it, trying to get prepared for all of this.
Yeah,
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I
well, I'll
know
give
that.
I don't have one now, you've got mine though, too. And I will see you at your meeting.
Again, thanks for coming up.
Good, thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, we listened to it together, because I was at the meeting, and this is, the mayor did not stay. He voted.
He voted.
Very
He
clear.
actually checked with all the aldermen to make sure that everyone voted no.
So this is what I printed off from down at the bottom, 5 ayes, and it says Mayor Chet abstained.
No, no, no. I'm in Zero.
I'm in Winter
Oh, I read that incorrectly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've been there 19 years and I still haven't heard it. That's what I thought.
3 names,
Then I'll be
5 names.
in Belmont soon.
McClatchy?
Bessie.
Yes.
Oh, those are names.
Yes.
So I'm moving from my Bellevue to
And I'm Christie.
Ready?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that clears that up, thank you.
Good.
I misread that.
Well, I really hope you all side with what the city is hoping to.
So far, we have,
I know, I love what you had to say. Thank you all so much.
I agree.
Okay. Do we want to reconvene the meeting?
it's up to you.
Reconvene the meeting, I guess, at
Wasn't gonna say
7:34.
no.
Okay, approval of meeting minutes from August 10th. Can I get a motion, discussion, whatever?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from August 10th.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so that was Shaver. Okay, all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, I want to point out one thing before we go into the bills on the town fund. I think you guys may have come across a bank transaction and the input of money from a hail damage claim that we had.
I saw it.
Okay, and then you also saw the partial payment to the contractor when it comes to the check register.
They came on, I saw that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure you guys both saw, everybody saw that.
Yes.
Okay. With that, I will entertain a motion for the bills of the, motion for approval of the receipts and bills for the town fund.
Alrighty, we, the undersigned members of...
I'll second
That's
that
Adam.
motion. I'll second.
I'm gonna make a motion before they read that.
Technically, you do.
All right.
We, the undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have on this 14th day of September 2023 examined and audited the amounts due for items specified in the claims attached and hereby authorize payments of same. Total reimbursements to be approved, $91.92. Total bills to be approved, $29,067.09. Total bills paid prior to audit, $508,365.51. Totals to be approved, $537,524.52. Total receipts, $1,009,851.54, make a motion that we approve and pay these bills.
I'll second the motion.
Will the clerk call the roll since we're spending money?
Supervisor Bauer,
Yes.
trustees Shaver,
Yes.
Yeager,
Yes.
McCready,
Yes.
Vandenagel,
Yes.
all ayes, motion carries.
Okay, item number 5. Looking for a motion for the approval of receipts and bills for the general road and bridge
I'll
fund.
make a motion for the approval of receipts and bills for the general road and bridge fund.
Who would second that?
Second.
Okay, Mark?
Mark.
Mr.
We, the
Trustee Guy.
undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have on this 14th day of September 2023 examined and audited the amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached and hereby authorize payments of the same. Total reimbursements to be approved, $284.25. Total bills to be approved, $249,956.12. Total bills paid prior to audit, $12,338.54. $2,262,579.87. To be approved, $262,579.24. Net receipts, $9,782.67. I make a motion that we pay these bills.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, the motion's already presented and seconded.
We seconded it twice.
Yep, perfect. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Supervisor Barla?
Yes.
Trustees Shaver?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Credo?
Yes.
Benedict?
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
Item 6, the permanent art road fund. Need a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Don't fight, guys.
Trustee Benedict?
We, the undersigned members of the McHenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have this 14th day of September 2023 examined and audited amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached and hereby authorize payment of the same. Total reimbursements to be approved, none. Total bills to be approved, $125,426.81. Total bills paid prior to audit, $19,117.86. Total to be approved, $144,544.67. Total receipts, $6,033. That's it.
We have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Supervisor Barla?
Yes.
Trustees Shaver?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Credo?
Yes.
Benedict?
Yes.
All ayes, motion carries.
Item 7 is fund transfer. There are no fund transfers. Item 8 is new business. We covered 8.1 as we moved it up to right under public comments. 8.2 is a discussion on natural vegetation. I'll make a motion that we move this to the next meeting so that we can have Eric Especial here, our parks lead and operations lead, to give us a little explanation of what programs are available out there today, and maybe we can get somebody from the road group to give us an overview of what they've been doing in the right-of-ways of the road. So the whole reason for that is the natural vegetation is to reduce on mowing costs. So
I thought it was a generation of bees and butterflies.
that's one of the benefits of it, but it's also to help reduce costs.
Are we, okay, we have a motion to table. I need a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the table, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, anybody abstain? All those, hearing all ayes, the motion passes. Okay. The review of benefits from the elected officials. Need a motion and a second to talk about that.
I'll make a motion to discuss there and review the benefits of the elected officials.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I'll let you guys start.
I thought that's something we had to discuss in executive session. It could be
Not
wrong.
for the elected officials.
Okay.
Employees of the township has to be done in executive session. As for any elected official that is public, that's to be done in public.
So it's been a while since we discussed this, but if I recall, we, in our first session, discussed the salary of elected officials. And we also wanted to examine benefits. The prior board reduced or removed benefits from the elected officials that it essentially cut to part-time.
Correct.
So the question, I think, is, do we go back and make those, we from a financial standpoint, we've talked about making those positions full-time equivalent again. I would imagine that that also needs to include benefits then.
I think the only discussion we might have to do on benefits, because I've seen it both ways at the township. One is it included spouses, one it did not. And that's probably the only thing we probably really need to discuss.
So if you voluntarily get a job somewhere, typically your health insurance covers your spouse. Do we think that being an elected official is different?
I just presented, I've seen it both ways at the township.
Yeah.
When I first got involved 15, 20 years ago, it did cover spouses. I know because I was a spouse.
So what
for
are you?
Debbie's spouse at the time, so I was covered, and then it changed years down the road.
To only being the primary,
Right, and then they had to pay for the spouse.
what is it today for,
Today, we offer benefits to the elected officials as an employee equal to, so it offers spousal insurance. That's partially paid for by the elected official also. There is a payment included in there that he has home ownership. It's not 100%.
Yeah, right,
yeah,
Well, in the past, it wasn't 100%. They had, because there are none today.
right.
Make that clear. There are no benefits.
so the
today.
past it was 100%, there was no, I'll call it co-insurance, but there was no like co.
They had a card
premium.
that they paid into. What's that card called, Gary? Do you
No,
remember?
there's an HRA account, which is a health
Yeah, that's.
reimbursement account.
That's more a component of the specific plan that you choose. So I guess my question is,
No.
Gary, previously, is it your understanding that if you as an elected official had taken health insurance, that you would have been paying a portion of the premiums out of your pocket pre-tax?
Yes.
Or would you it have been fully covered by the
No,
township?
you would have been paying pre-tax.
Okay.
And I want to say it's, off the top of my head, it's like 25% of that cost.
But Gary, wasn't there a card that the individual paid into that covered the deductible?
Yeah, that's.
Up to a certain?
That's the
HRA,
HRA.
Yeah, they don't take,
FSA,
all
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
HSA.
and that's,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'm retired.
That's more like whatever Gary and Debbie decide to do with the specific insurance plan that they pick. A lot of insurance plans are going to that structure because the premium is a little bit less expensive, the deductible's a little bit higher, but you can put money away to cover part of or all of the deductible.
Yeah, if my memory serves, for a family, the deductible's like, out of pocket is like $16,000 a year.
Yeah, it's a very high.
It's a major medical plan,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
It's
right.
not, there's no 80/20 anymore. Get
So-
right out of the gate.
Well, we're talking insurance, should we get bids?
No, well, that's already part of what they do though.
Well, I know, but years ago, they used to get bids on the insurance. I don't know if we're doing that anymore.
Wouldn't that be more?
Yeah, I believe that we went through the exercise last time the insurance was time to be renewed. And the particular insurance we had a no-cost raise, and the other plans would be higher. And we're limited in the insurance, we can't just go out and pick any insurance company. The township code limits the number of providers, and what happens is, there's only X amount of providers that will offer insurance to townships. So we're limited, we just can't go out and shop it anywhere, like Ethos or Aetna or any place like that. We have to pick from the ones that are given to us.
And sometimes you're grandfathered in, so if you've had a policy long enough, your rates are lower than somebody new coming in. Your benefits are better than somebody new coming in, so bouncing from one insurance every few years isn't beneficial.
Yeah.
Well, you guys saw the spreadsheets that were included in your packets. Yeah, so you see the dollar amounts that are involved.
It is what it is. If we want to get people, we have to take care of them.
I
Correct.
agree.
It's
So
just
then-
how simple it is.
So then, how do we proceed? Do we?
Well, I think
say
that,
what our thoughts are?
well, I think that next month the attorney will be here. One of the things he can advise us on is the process to revise an ordinance that, I still think we need to complete a budget and look at those expenses and put it into a budget and kind of walk through that before we finalize an ordinance for higher salaries and benefits.
Yeah, but when
Do
is
we
our-
have the capacity to build that?
When are we starting our budget hearings?
Typically October, November,
Okay.
so next month or the month after.
Well, then I think.
So
it
it's all
gives
part, that's kind of why we brought it up now, is to
Yeah.
get that portion in there, but we'll start building those shortly.
So I think, I mean, I don't know if the other trustees want to take a position. I would recommend if we're going to make, specifically I guess you could say the assessor, the road commissioner, and the highway commissioner, and the supervisor back to a full-time position, restore previously where the board had slashed it from, that they should have insurance, but
Why
I think
not?
we need to work that in the budget session, so then maybe we need to table this until the next meeting when we start, or table it till the meeting where we start the budget conversation, just to see what the dollar looks like.
Well, I think with the attorney coming next month, it's probably a good idea to still have the conversation with him.
Correct.
Here, so not completely table it.
Yeah.
But the actual numbers when we start working on the budget, for sure.
I don't follow that. The attorney's
What is
really
it
gonna
that-
advise us on the process and the resolution.
Right.
So we, or you guys
So we want
as
to be able
the
to
board-
ask him those
Yeah, correct,
questions when
yeah,
he's here,
correct.
not bring him in for a special meeting.
No, he's coming in for, we have another issue that I'll inform you about.
Okay.
Right.
So what do we need to do?
I think it sounds like as a
Talk
group,
about it next time.
we support adding insurance, but we still need to review the financial aspect.
Yes,
And also ask the attorney next steps during the next meeting.
yes.
But now we're all aligned that salaries and benefits are back to where they were.
I agree. Keep in mind, we could always change this once we get to the budget period, and we see, hey, man, we need to make, because we have till 6 months before.
You have actually
the-
180 days before the next election to
Correct,
finalize
to make a
the ordinance.
decision, right.
The resolution, the ordinance.
So then I'll modify the motion, we've discussed, modify the
Okay.
motion to continue this conversation at the next meeting.
So
We need a
9.1,
motion to
to table it, motion to table, and bring back at the next meeting.
I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Who was second, John?
Michelle.
Michelle?
Trustee Bendenek. We need to formalize this up instead of being so
All
casual.
ayes?
All ayes. I'm assuming, Mark?
Yes.
Okay. Item 9.2, on old business. Trustee Shaver wants to review rated and controlled car track. I'll make a motion for discussion and possible action.
I will second.
Okay.
All right, so I've done a lot of research, had a lot of conversations, and am going to recommend a slight pivot here. Initially, when I brought this up, my intention was to work with the highway department employees voluntarily to essentially build an RC track somewhere on our property outdoors where kids and the public could come and use it as another feature of the parks. I've been unable to, as of this point, secure the donations required to complete that properly. So what I pivoted to is the idea that we could form either it as a private club that is working with the township or in some manner, basically throughout the winter months, as like Mark was doing the harmonica thing, like basically host monthly or bi-weekly some type of indoor RC activity. And so you can read my whole plan in the packet that I sent, I provided you guys, but basically use this facility once or twice a month, lay down a carpet track with some, basically it's like acrylic downspout as the borders and the guidelines. There are a couple of open items that I'll come back to on this first page, but on the second page, on the back of the first page, I've been able to secure roughly $2,000 in donations of hobby-related items, primarily 4 ready-to-run vehicle kits, tools, chargers, and I have provided batteries and chargers and other things needed to basically get it up and running. On the third page, you kind of see just a mock-up of sign or brochure flyer, if you want to call it that, for a possible event that I would host and kind of launch this. The goal really is to just try to get kids involved in this hobby. It's a hobby I've participated in my entire life. And there will be kids who can't afford a vehicle to drive, so that is why I've specifically tried to secure a bunch of kits myself from a couple of different manufacturers. There's one other manufacturer I'm waiting to hear back from that would provide another 4, so we would have 8. Essentially, the contingencies, and I think one of these may need the attorney, but the contingencies basically just need the okay from the township to use the town hall once or twice a month. And I need the okay to leave the track materials here somewhere instead of having to haul rolls of carpet and a bunch of other stuff to and from. As far as the attorney goes, the sponsors have provided banners with their name on them and asked if we can display those during the event and just say like, hey, like part of this has been provided by these 2 organizations or 3 organizations, but they're just banners that come down. They're not permanent.
Point of clarification on that is
Sure.
that if they are donating to the club,
Yes,
they can put them up while they're using the space, but they have to come down afterwards.
correct.
The township cannot solicit donations or fees and place a sign up.
Correct.
That's against township code.
Yes, that's why I've kept it to where the township's portion of, for this pivot that I made, the township is limited to their participation so far as letting the club use the building. But the club would basically maintain the equipment, receive the donations. I don't think we're gonna ask anybody to contribute anything financially until we get to a point where, like, if there's a big following, like next summer, we say, hey, if we wanna move this forward, here's what we're gonna need. So it's basically a partnership between the club and the township. The township would not officially be the host,
Essentially, we would be making a donation to the club,
letting us use the building.
letting in the roundabout. Yeah, I gotta understand the legalities there, but from where I sit, the way it's laid out now, it's a club and you're just looking for space. We would have to look in those two closets to see if you're, with all the tables and everything put away.
Yep.
To see if there's enough space there to store the equipment.
Okay.
Securing it so it doesn't grow legs and walks away would be the club's responsibility. We wouldn't be responsible for theft. Not saying that would happen.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that a use of a space that's not being utilized today to show children of our township there's alternative hobbies out there would be a good use of our space.
I agree.
I agree.
And good for the kids.
Sweet.
Correct. Well, there's more than just running cars too. I'm sure that Adam, no, I'm just kidding.
The planes.
We were gonna go into science and math and reading, and you're gonna put a plan together for that too?
The planes don't work so well in the building. So,
Well, if you can get STEM included in it, we're good.
yeah, there's just tons of stuff. I mean, when I was in high school, I got scholarships because of participation in different things like this. So.
Sure, no, it gives them other avenues and other things to investigate as they're
Especially in the
growing up.
winter.
Yep.
And that's why I pivoted to this now. I mean, twice a month in the winter, I think we might potentially get to a point where we have to turn people away because there will be too many people that want to do it. I know that sounds kind of weird,
Just
but.
keep in mind that this hall does get rented for weddings.
Correct.
And reception.
Well, he would have to pick the 2 days a month that if somebody wanted that, so typically the way it works, if the township's gonna sponsor somebody and say they can use the space at no cost, one, that opens up another Pandora's box because they're officially not a nonprofit. They would typically rent, so I have to find out if we can donate back the space, which I don't see why not.
I agree.
It's unused.
I'm investigating for the harmonica thing, a 501c3 charity, which I have a CFO.
Yeah.
So I can make that happen for relatively nothing.
Okay.
So that would be, suggest. That way you're a legit not-for-profit with all the benefits of a not-for-profit.
Sure, any information you got on that?
Yeah, I got it.
See how this works? You talk and things kind of come together.
And even if you don't qualify for a 501c3, you might qualify as 501c4.
Right, something, and I'm gonna have, because I'm not generating any money with the teaching the seniors the harmonica, but I am using space and I'm getting a lot of interest in it, a lot. I'm also doing it at Crystal Lake Senior Center now.
Wow.
And
It's amazing. Mark's doing a great job.
it's getting a lot of
No doubt
traction.
about it.
And Judy's fun to have in there.
Any other discussion on the RC cars?
Yeah, so if you guys are all okay with it, then I'll start what I just worked with Debbie as far as dates to rent the hall.
Yeah, that would be fine. You can contact them and the clerk at the counter, Logan Von Allman, can look in the books and see what's rented and what's not.
The only carpeting guy I know in the area is Ken's, and he's right up the street. He has a lot of remnants. You can talk to him.
Yeah, I called them. They're gonna get back to me. I've called a couple other places and not had any traction.
Eric didn't find the carpeting from the old bocce courts? No.
No,
Well,
so.
I knew it was a while ago, I knew it was a
Yeah, so-
long shot, I knew that.
I have one other call that's out. John, I was gonna also ask if, I know we've already talked to your person at Home Depot, but if there's, if there's any possibility, I don't know.
I can ask her.
Even if I pay out of pocket, maybe they have some sort of discount they can apply.
I'll call
Yeah.
her, I'll call her.
I'm sure you can get the contractor's discount if you need a
Oh, if
contractor.
nothing else,
I've got
that's
it.
for sure.
If you need a contractor to go in and pay for it, I'm sure he's got, and get you the discount. I'm sure he can do
Yeah, I'm
that.
sure that's,
There's a few in town.
Yeah, so
Okay.
no other.
not to cut you short, how much carpeting do you need, 12 feet by
I need 24 by 40 is the space I need to cover. So
24
whether
by
that's,
40?
space.
Okay,
yeah,
On the back?
okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
yeah,
No,
whether
I
that's
just saw it too.
2 8-foot or 3 8-foot rolls or 2 12-foot rolls, doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
24 by 40s, that's
Yeah.
fine.
And color doesn't matter.
Carpet tiles, actually, my wife actually had a good idea. She saw on Facebook someone was selling carpet tiles. It's a little bit more of a pain to put out 240 carpet tiles than it is to just roll out 2 rolls, but it would, if,
I'll see what she has, I can
Not
ask
if
her,
you
tell her
were
to do.
fixed into some sort of pliable background. Like a very thin Mylar or
Yeah.
something. But, I mean, I'll let you guys work out the details. Okay, so item 10 is proposed agenda items for next month.
I would like to propose an agenda item for next month.
What's that?
I know we've had several conversations about the park equipment, the playground equipment, and we haven't had a conversation about that in a few meetings. But those pictures today kind of scared me that we are exposed to some sort of liability with the current condition, and we need to just take it down. So possible action and discussion next meeting, but I don't know that we should wait till the next meeting to make action on it. So I don't know if there's some way that we can discuss that and make action tonight. But based on those pictures, it's gotten significantly worse.
Yeah.
It's too dark for me to walk out there and look at it, in all honesty.
You can't do it tonight anyway, it's not on the agenda.
You don't have to go out there and look at it, just look at
You'd
the
have to call a
pictures.
special meeting to take action on it. Takes 2 trustees to call a special meeting.
It's up to you guys.
Can we call a
I've got all the
special
time in the world.
Can we call a special meeting directly after our regular meeting?
No, you don't, in other words, a
You have to have
meeting,
notice.
next week
It's
on
gotta go
Thursday.
through all the public
Right.
notice and
Yeah.
everything else. So
Okay.
it would take 2 or 3 days to be able to call a meeting
Yeah,
that quick.
that makes sense.
So the
I
other thing,
support it.
the other thing too is, I gotta dig out the review, find out a little more from the guy who reviewed it, who gave us that. It may be coming up on 2 years old. At this point, we also need to get an update on where we stand with getting information from people. I know that over the summer months, it was very hard to get information from these folks. There's 3 companies sitting on my desk right now that we were able to get one to come out and meet with Eric. So this is their busy season, so
Yeah.
maybe we'll have a little more response in the fall to get the plan together.
But couldn't we,
You can dig it down.
I'm just saying, like, right now, couldn't we say yellow tape it off till we have time to get there?
I think that's the minimum of what we should do. It's not safe.
I mean, I think we should be able to do that before any vote or anything.
You don't need a vote to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
But we need a special meeting to talk about it to get it done.
To tear it down or whatever, but to put the yellow tape around there, I think we should just, we could recommend that, can we not?
Yeah, that's just an
If we
administrative
can,
action.
I
You don't
would
have to
recommend that we take it off and
vote
make
on
it.
it.
I think
put
Gary
signs
can
up
make
to
that
say
decision
not-
by himself, in all honesty.
To say not to use it.
Yeah, that doesn't need
Well,
it.
at least that's something to start with, but I agree it still needs to.
I mean,
And then-
if you need our backing, Gary, we'll let you go.
No, I just wish there were more hours in the day so we can move faster on the park equipment, find a replacement for it, because once we take it down, they're gonna be lined up in
Yeah,
here.
but I'm saying just put yellow tape around it
Correct.
until we have time to make a decision.
And then we
Understood,
also-
but once we do that, it's no longer usable, we're gonna have people in
It
here.
is what it is.
It is, it's correct.
It's a
We
safety
also-
item, it's a
yeah.
safety item.
Yeah.
We also then need to notify Sheila because she came before the board and provided the pictures that
Correct.
that's what we've done. So,
Yeah, you have record of her name, Sheila. I don't
Sheila
have her.
Thomas.
Yeah, I'd rather them come in here and complain about us blocking
Right.
it off than some kid or
Get
kids
hurt
getting
out there, no
hurt.
doubt about it.
So yell at me for trying to save your kids, I don't care.
You're a bad mama.
Yep,
I
we're
know, I'm a
good.
terrible mom.
Duly noted.
The only thing that I'd like to add on there is paying the bus drivers.
to review the pay of the bus drivers?
No, review the amount we're paying our bus drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
You want to bring up
I want to bring up,
us reviewing what the bus drivers
I
are
reckon
paid.
they paid, and that they should start different salaries, blah, blah, blah.
But because of bus drivers, wouldn't that be done in special?
Yes.
Correct. We need to adjourn and go into executive session if we want to have a discussion on
Right.
bus driver pay.
That's what I thought, okay.
And then the other thing that I brought up, I don't know if we need to do it or not, some kind of defensive driving course for people driving our equipment. We could talk about it. I don't, I come from the trucking industry, and we train everybody how to drive, and how to pre-trip and post-trip, and how to drive, aim high and steering and all that good stuff. I don't know if we need that at this level. I just don't know if we need to discuss it.
You probably know my opinion. There's obviously a cost attached to that, and we need to stay within the budget. So we would have to take something out to put this in, defensive driving.
Doesn't the insurance company provide like a defensive driving training?
We'd have to inquire.
And, I do know that we've had no issues up to this point, from what I understand.
Ask the insurance company if they give a discount if you have this defensive driving course.
Yep.
There you go.
I'm going to talk to Sean Richardson this week. He's from Torma, and I'll ask him.
Okay.
Okay, how is that gonna be written on the agenda?
Review
Discussion
the
of-
a discussion on defensive driving course.
Well, I think John, it was brought in that, so. it was
Anybody who
just-
operates township,
Not,
cars and
not
trucks.
necessarily a road district.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not talking
it's
about
just the town area.
Overall township vehicle.
Right. The assessor,
I don't know if she drives the vehicles, but if she
well, they
does,
have
yeah.
two vehicles, well, the assessor's office, I should say.
So anybody who drives, so just so you're aware, anybody who drives a township vehicle is already being drug tested. So I can't get in a township vehicle because I'm not on the drug test rolls. Neither are you.
Right.
Neither is half of the office that's in there. It's the field workers that drive the cars for the assessor's office that can get drug tested.
Well, the park district has a couple of,
Correct, so
F-150s or whatever they are.
Eric, so just as you know, they are on a routine, random drug testing schedule out there for anybody who drives
Yeah,
park equipment.
right. Again,
So
I'm thinking the driving end.
Yeah, so all four of the members out there are on that.
Yeah, drug testing is separate than
Yeah,
the
right.
Correct.
ability.
The only other thing, and I don't know if we want to put it on the agenda, but we could look at it down the road, I'd like to know the age of all of our equipment.
That's
Like
good.
Eric's F-150, whatever he's driving, I'd like to see a list of how old our equipment is, so when we do the budget, hey, we gotta replace this truck in 2 years.
That's a really good
or-
point.
That should be part of the budget process.
Yeah.
And I don't remember
Doesn't
going
the
through
highway
that.
commissioner take that into
No,
consideration?
like
when he
Eric's
says?
still like.
It's separate. So all the park equipment comes out of the town fund. So to replace a truck, the one-ton truck with a plow would come out of funding from the town fund. Anything other than, a lawnmower, anything used by the parks typically comes out of us unless we share the equipment with the road district. It's their equipment, and through our intergovernmental agreement, we get to use it occasionally. So those are things that's all Jim's responsibility at that point. But from an administrative standpoint, rather than putting it on the agenda, we have some other things that we are working on that are occupying our time at the moment. We will get an inventory of the age of our equipment.
Yeah, we go through the budget
Yeah.
process, so we know that we gotta replace
Yeah.
this truck in 2 years, or
Correct. I think we have a few more
Or
pressing.
mileage.
or mileage.
We have a
right.
few more pressing matters.
I
than that.
understand, we're not gonna meet till
Yeah.
November, I'm just.
Okay, supervisor reports. Any questions?
No, sir.
What I can tell you, just to add real quickly, is that next Friday, I will be in front of the county Senior Services Grant Commission to present regarding the $30,000 grant for the senior bus service.
Is that open to the public?
Sure, their meetings are all open to the public.
Just making sure.
It's 8:30 a.m. At the Ware Road Building. so I'll be presenting our case to them as to why they need to give us, give us the money for our program. Something I can share from you is that ridership is increasing. I think post-COVID last year, around the April timeframe, 1 year, or it was a year. So there was, when I reported out in April, we had a total over 12 months of 5,000 rides. We're at 7 months, we're already at 5,400 rides.
That's good.
We have 186 registered folks in our dispatch system. 51 of those are handicapped and require lift service at both ends, getting picked up, delivered, so that's 4 lift service. So we have to add time to be able to do that at each stop, and our dispatch system allows us to do that. We have 9 mentally disabled clients that we transport, and I don't have all the numbers in front of me. I wish I did. They're on my desk. I apologize I didn't bring them.
You can take a break.
But if you want, I can get them.
I'm just kidding, I'm sorry.
So what I'm doing is I'm crunching the data that's in our system. So what we did is we took all the grocery store, because food scarcity is an issue, and part of allowing seniors to stay at home is getting food to them. So some of them are able to ride our bus and go to the store themselves. I don't remember, we had a number, I want to say 43. 43 people use our door-to-door service on a regular basis. Our drivers get out of the bus, they walk up to the door, and they assist that passenger to the bus, on and on. So when they come out of the grocery store or wherever, we have a 2-bag limit, but we will help them with their groceries. And we're trying to figure out a way, rather than have 70 plastic bags with 1 item in them, we can get a couple more items in them and make it easier to transport. So we're working on hopefully finding a donation on bags to where we can do that. I want to say we had a lead on it. I can't confirm 100% that we've secured those, so I just need to check. They were, what I remember is they were a misrun at a printer, so they're just going to give them to us. Yeah, so that's good. So the other thing that's going on there is I broke down the grocery store and drugstore data, which again is sitting on my desk. I could give you the numbers, but I'm working on, what I'm trying to do is give you information regarding our bus service on how we're filling the gap between them being self-sufficient and, quote, the county program, McRide. McRide doesn't do what we do, and I'm trying to point it out by giving data to them, rather than we do this, we do that. So that's the good thing, is that, so I'm going in and specialty locations, such as dialysis, doctor's office, things of that nature. I'm trying to break down the number of trips that we go there every week. So those are the things that I'm working on, and that's occupying a lot of time for me getting ready for this grant. We're also going to be, and I'll just throw it out there, we're going to be forced by folks to look at forming some sort of cooperative on senior transportation with other service organizations. We've already begun to meet with some other folks to try to figure that one out. It's not going to happen for this grant, but at the grant after that, I think it's going to be a little tougher to get money for senior transportation. Don't want to set off any alarm bells yet, but that's my gut read on that, and I thought I'd share that with you guys. Any other questions? You are invited too. You just need to let me know. There is the McHenry Council of Governments monthly. We do participate as part of that. There's typically a mixer every month. I don't know if you guys would want to go to that or not. I typically attend a few of them to outside of our area, so I can understand and meet other people. There's one coming up in the city of Harvard on September 27th. If you'd like to attend, please contact me from 5:30 to, and there'll be a ComEd presentation on their 2023 vision. That'd be interesting. I think you know hail damage is going to be coming to an end here shortly. And last but not least, there's a Fox Waterway meeting coming up on September 21st to talk about, for the stakeholders to talk about that watershed. So I'm trying to attend that also. That's what I'm up to.
The only thing I'd like to add, I attended the McHenry County Gravel Advisory Council meeting last week.
Hang on one second.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gary, I thought you were done. I
No,
apologize.
we've got let me just keep it in order here.
I apologize.
Anything on the assessor's report?
No.
Any questions on the highway commissioner's report? No? Okay. There's no need for executive session. We've talked about it for next month. Pardon me? Yep. So I guess we'll start with board comments with trustee McCready.
I apologize again, Gary.
No, you're fine. Just trying to keep it in
No,
order.
I understand. I attended McHenry County's Gravel Advisory Council meeting last week, and it was the last one for this year. They're not going to meet again until March of next year. A couple things came out of there. On October 12th, they're doing a tour of a gravel pit. If anyone's interested, contact them and we'll give you a tour. It starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, goes to about 5 o'clock in the evening on October 12th. There weren't that many people as far as that council goes. Of course, Jack Pease was there. The Nunda Township Supervisor was the chairperson of that committee. And I did announce myself as being a McHenry Township trustee.
Sure.
I did not give my opinion on anything, I just let them know who I was. And then she asked me if I wanted to become part of that advisory council. I didn't give her an answer because I didn't think it'd be proper without talking to this board if I joined that advisory council. And that's basically what I'm asking. I mean, I don't have to, I just,
I think you ought to talk to the road commissioner and ask him if there's any benefit to it. Other than that, if you have a personal interest in it, it's a fact that you are a trustee of Mchenry Township and you want to join that, go right ahead, but as we've discussed several times, your opinions may not reflect the entire board.
I understand that totally.
Yeah.
I just wonder if anyone, I'll talk to Jim for sure.
I would encourage participation.
Thank you.
The more you know.
Yes.
That's what it is. I'll just go there. So
Trustee Shaver, anything else?
No additional comments.
Okay. Trustee Yeager, any additional?
Yeah, it was noticed by Algonquin Township at the parade that we were together, unified as a group. The road district, the park district, the town, the trustees, the clerk, we were all there, and we were all represented, and we were all getting along and working as a group, and it was noticed by other people. So I just wanted to let you know that we may disagree on something, but we respect each other's opinions, and we get along that way. That was it. Thanks.
That's good information. Thank you.
They did call us out specifically as the Mark Yeager group.
Yes.
Yes, he
So
did.
They
They did not say trustees, they said, and Mark Yeager for the township.
Oh.
And that was
So
it.
speaking of that, Gary, can we have 2 flags on our float?
We're going to clean that up for next year, yes.
And spell my name correctly.
Yes.
Correct.
Oh. I
You
do
want
have
an N in your name?
I would like it to look like that.
I do have one comment.
We're gonna clean that up.
She's
Yep.
got 2 ends.
Yeah. Well, now she's a Scrabble winner.
Let's just put them in the right place.
Aren't N's worth 8 points in Scrabble?
Well, we're not.
Never mind, let's move on.
I do actually have one comment.
Yes.
It's sort of, I don't know if it would be something we need to add to the next agenda, but the trustees and I, the clerk, Gary, I'm not sure if you're going, Debbie, and I'm sure others are going to the,
Torma?
the Township Officials of Illinois Conference in November, and other townships bring their township flag. We do not have a township flag. In the interest of time, could we, I don't know if we need a special meeting for this or not, but can we engage the local high schools and try to maybe have a contest or something where the kids design a state flag, or not state flag,
Gary
township
brought that up in
flag?
the past, I know you.
I would love to.
Like,
but
with
there's
enough
other pressing
expediency
matters-
that we
I would love
actually-
to, but there's other pressing matters that are before that.
Yeah.
Once I get time to be able to do that and work with staff to be able to go out and make these presentations to the schools and develop a contest per se, absolutely, that's been on my agenda, it's from day one, is create a township flag. Yep.
I just didn't know if it's something we could do before the conference or not, but.
If I may make a comment, I have my one grandson, he's really into flags. I had bought another flagpole for the house. But he has made several flags, so he would really enjoy that. And I think we should have one.
Give him the township logo and the 4 independent logos and see what he comes up with for a design.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need to do a contest.
Yeah, maybe we don't need to do a contest.
He would love it.
Or you could just do a image of a pit being dug.
I don't think so.
I don't know that
No,
that would
Robert,
go
that was a
very
little too
well.
soon.
McHenry, it's.
You know, from a simple, I guess we could probably talk to a flag maker and take the current logo and just put it on a white background.
I mean, there's worst case scenario.
Just something in the interim, something simple. Let me see what I can pull together there.
It would make John
Are you gonna
proud.
march it down the aisle, down at the?
I was gonna say, it'll make John proud to march it up on the stage there at the conference.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot.
So everybody, okay, moving on. I will come back with one comment regarding, the travel down to, downstate. Remember, we're all part of the Open Meetings Act, that if you choose to ride together, you're not supposed to be speaking about township business.
We do not.
Absolutely.
So,
We play
just wanna
cards.
make sure
I
that
assure you, I slept the entire way.
that is a state no-no is, but I understand that, and I appreciate you riding together to save costs by only having one set of mileage versus 4. So we appreciate that.
It's not only a gas issue, Gary, it develops camaraderie amongst us.
Understood.
It's just a team.
100%.
Or you could take 2 vehicles and just not have a
Can't have a quorum.
quorum.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you want
exactly.
to, yeah.
Can't have 3 or more in a car.
You done.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? We are closed at 8:20. Thank you.
I brought an example of one of the arts and parts that was
Can you shut
donated,
the-
if you guys wanna see it.
Shut the camera off.